Adoptive parents stole me from BO dad. So I'm a 22F living independently. Before I get into it, I just want to give a bit of backstory. I was adopted as a baby by my adoptive parents and raised believing that my BO dad abandoned me when he found out my BO mom was pregnant and that my BO mom gave me up because she was too young for a baby. I had a hard childhood as my parents never wanted to discuss my adoption and would get very uncomfortable if I brought it up and sometimes very angry and start shouting if I talked about finding out more about my biological family and would always say things like, "Aren't we enough? They abandoned you and we raised you." My adoptive dad also struggled with anger issues and would yell at me a lot, so we have a strained relationship, but he tries to stay close. My adoptive mom is always calling me and wanting to stay in my life as well. They are nice, but can be angry and guilt trip me a lot into doing what they want. Now when I was 18 I decided I wanted to find out more about my biological family and I searched for them using some documents I found plus the help of my aunt. I did find my biological dad, which confused me as they said that he abandoned me and didn't want anything to do with me. I told my parents and they screamed at me and scared me so much and told me that my BO mom put whatever name she could think of on my birth certificate and that he did abandon me and that I was horrible for doing this behind their backs and that they should be enough. They made me promise to never reach out and that he wasn't my BO dad. I did what they said and didn't contact him as I believed them. Well, when I was 20 I decided to look him up again and found his Facebook and saw that he posted birthday posts on my birthday wishing his daughter a happy birthday and a few other posts about birth parents. This felt like enough information plus his pictures that it was him, and I reached out. He was overjoyed and very excited and emotional to talk. After texting back and forth with him skirting questions about the adoption, we decided to meet in person as he didn't live that far away. When we met up it was very emotional and we talked for hours. He eventually told me that he wasn't told he had a child and that he found out that he did after the adoption. He petitioned for a paternity test and it was positive, but they didn't give him custody as I was 13 months old at this point. He was heartbroken and tried to set up visitation, but my adoptive parents denied him, and that was that. I felt so betrayed and disgusted with my adoptive parents and feel like they kept me from my BO dad. I don't know how to move past this. I also found out who my BO mom is, but she passed away a few years ago due to suicide. My BO dad said that she was forced into the adoption by her parents and that she would love to meet me. I've been so upset and heartbroken ever since finding all this out. I decided to confront my parents with this information and they at first denied it and told me he just wanted money. He never asked and all he wants is a relationship. But eventually my mom broke and said that they raised me first and that they wanted a baby for so long after dealing with infertility and that they didn't want to lose me. They also aren't supportive of the relationship with my BO dad. I'm unsure now how to move forward. I've met my BO dad's wife and their 2 kids 13 meters and 10 meters, who have embraced me into their family and are both lovely people. My adoptive parents are constantly calling and leaving either rude messages or guilting me and making me feel bad for doing this. I don't know what to do. I can't get over all these feelings of being taken and kidnapped and denied a relationship with my BO dad. My extended adoptive family have reached out to me to call me names and tell me what a horrible person I'm as well. Reddit comments. You should speak to a counselor who specializes in adoption. There are many feelings that, unless you've been adopted or dealt with it a lot, that you just can't understand. Your adoptive parents are really crappy for trying to deny you a relationship with your dad. He clearly wanted you to be in his life and they thwarted that. They're also really crappy for lying to you for decades, just because they wanted a child. You have every right to seek your birth parents out. They should fully support you in having both adoptive and biological relationships. The fact that your BO dad's fam is warm and accepting and adoptive family is being kinda crappy about speaks wonders about the whole situation. It is nice that he had positive things to say about your BO mom, That speaks to his character. It sounds like biologically you come from good people, even if it started out kind of chaotic. Good luck in your journey. Everything you said right here. Plus you're a grown adult now, and you are legally, mentally, and emotionally capable, and entitled to make your own decisions with whom you form relationships and bonds with. You have every right to keep in contact and connect with your bio dad. Your adoptive parents are incredibly selfish for keeping this from you for so long, and their behavior is just downright wrong and repulsive. The fact that years later he still posts birthday messages about you tells me enough about who truly loves you. The adopted parents' actions speak enough also. Therapy is always a good decision. You're going to have to work out how to continue your relationship with your adoptive parents after they lied to you, and learn how to trust them again. But first you must set boundaries. An easy way to get them to stop guilting you is to provide an ultimatum of sorts. Tell them you won't be speaking to them if they start lying, denying, or guilt tripping, and will immediately hang up the phone on them. Then stick with it. It 100% works. Then if they bring it up, hang up. Stick to your boundaries. Once they realize you won't speak to them, if they keep talking crap and disapproving of your relationship with your bio dad, they will stop. Because they want a relationship with you. And they are clearly very worried that you'll love him more than them. I went through the same thing once my dad remarried and my mom started bad-mouthing my stepmom. This method is very effective. I wish you luck up. It's gonna be tough to forgive, but really rewarding when you get to the point where you can have a relationship with both sets of parents. This is why writing down your feelings is great, because you can look back on what you honestly think. Now, which of those two groups of people sound like family to you? In my opinion, the best thing you can do is determine what you want and move forward, because you owe nothing to either of these people. Do what makes you happy. You should never feel guilty about cutting contact with your adoptive parents. They don't get to guilt trip you about all they did raising you after they stole you from your dad. If you're feeling generous and potentially see a future with them, I would write a letter or text so you can calmly state your feelings about the situation, as well as explain to them that their attempts to lash out at you are founded purely on their guilt for what they did to you, and it is only going to force the wedge further between the three of you. If your adoptive parents love you, then they won't have a problem with you seeing and getting to know your bio father. They are still your mom and dad, the ones who raised you, and that won't change just because you have met your father. If they can't understand that, then that is their problem. My guess is that they feel guilty for depriving you from being with him, so this is how they are acting. Any mention of him is a reminder of how they acted when you were little. I know this sounds heartless, but if you want to pursue a relationship with your father, you have that right. It sounds like he wants that, and if your mom and dad can't get on board with that, then it's time to leave them behind. Do what feels right to you. Don't let others dictate. Love is about supporting and caring, not dictating and guilt tripping. Best of luck to you. Their behavior is beyond disgusting. They took away your right to a relationship with your own father and have the audacity to tell you to carry on with that. The fact they blame not being able to have their own kids is a joke and doesn't excuse the absolutely atrocious thing they did. Honestly, I'd start a relationship with your bio dad and start cutting back the relationship with them. They had no right stopping visitation theirs. No excuse for that. Even if they were worried, you should have been the priority, not them. Well, first you need to keep your facts straight. They never kidnapped you. They adopted you. Taking you into their life was a sign of love and compassion, not a crime. Them denying your dad to visit you is a whole other story. That's just awful on their part. You were gonna find out about your bio dad sooner or later, since the internet is a thing. The fact that they kept you from having a relationship with your dad was something done out of pure selfishness, and they didn't take you into consideration when making that decision for even a second. They wanted a kid and weren't gonna share it with anyone, not even the biological father, who, as far as I know, is a very decent human being. Judging on this, since you have made no complaints, have they apologized about their decision? Have they admitted that what they did was wrong towards you, the kid they claim to love as their own? Them admitting they did something wrong would be my first requirement to even start forgiving them. If they can't even do that, they are the same selfish people who denied visitation 21 years ago. Point, it's your own call if you want to keep having a relationship with them. They might have adopted you, but they don't own you. Comment and subscribe.